Yep.
We'll call to order the zoning board of appeals meeting for August 28th, 2025. I think we're all showing out today. And from an agenda standpoint, we have the minutes from our June 12th, 2025 meeting. Does anyone have a motion on the acceptance of those minutes?
Yes, move to accept the minutes.
We have a second.
I'll second.
All in favor of those minutes?
Aye.
Right. For tonight, we have two variance applications on the docket, which is, first one is the Powell area variance. Welcome back.
Thanks.
So do we have a motion to open the public hearing for this variance?
So move.
All right. Second,
Second.
all right, all in favor?
Aye.
Why don't you guys come on back up? And I'm going to waive the reading of this since it was published in the Sentinel. And we can just move forward to the discussion. Are everyone here is familiar with their requests or their asks? Okay. You guys can just give us an overview again of what you're looking to achieve with this specific variance?
Sure, yeah, so we were here back in June, like beginning of June for the pole barn. And part of the variance that was approved was there was two other buildings down there. One was the carport, which has been removed, and then the other one was the shed. That apparently wasn't in compliance. We did not know that. So we're just kind of looking to get an area variance for that. Similar reasons for the pole barn as well. There's really no other area on the property to really move it to. It's currently being used to house a lot of like seasonal equipment. And we would like to continue to use it for that purpose.
And I guess, does anyone on the board have any questions about just the summary of it or any of the two sections that they're looking to just work through?
Yeah, do I have a question for them?
Go ahead.
Are there any utilities to that?
Nope.
And are you looking to make any other additional improvements to the shed itself?
No.
No, just basically pulling this into compliance.
You got it.
Yeah, all we want to do is just keep it where it is.
Keep it where it is, continue to use it, so that we can kind of move things in and out of the pole barn that we want to put up.
And it's structurally sound.
Oh, yeah. Good.
Oh, okay, cool. We steal it. Okay. Did anyone else on the board have any questions? Do we have any public comment online or? Okay.
What's the base of the shed like below and what's it?
It's just stone that was laid there to make the foundation even. So it's just kind of like sitting on that right now. And the base of the actual shed down there is like plywood.
Nothing else, then I would make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor on that?
Aye.
You're welcome to stick around. We do another one. We'll kind of go through that and then we'll discuss and see if we want to take action on that.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you for the overview. All right, so the second one tonight is the poly area variance. So just wanted to confirm, so made an assumption, I was gonna stop over, I'm sorry. Jay?
Yes.
All right, so come on up. I guess we want motion to open the public hearing on this one.
Motion, so moved.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor on that? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks for coming up. Just give us an overview on this.
Sure, we're looking to install a ground mounted solar array, a small residential one. Yeah, property with the house.
Okay.
I've been sound.
Yeah,
Nice
to meet you.
So, looking at the location, one of the reasons why I believe we found ourselves in here is because of, percentage of, square footage already used as accessory structures, I believe that's, I have here.
Mhm.
So, some of the questions we're looking at are why this location, we said that location specifically to try to get the most yield out of the sun, it has the least amount of shade, and we're also trying to hide it from both the homeowners and the surrounding neighbors. I'm not sure if you're that familiar with the property, but it's kind of, it looks like you have the photos here.
You do.
So it's situated in a pretty sizable depression in that area, so. I don't believe the neighbors are gonna be able to see it all. Decent setback from the sides. And, so I guess that's the best location you can find on the property, because the house doesn't face the right way. There's also a lot of trees in some other areas that we don't want to take down, so I think that was just kind of a conducive thought for both the performance of the system and location for the neighbors and the homeowner.
And from a measurement, like what is the distance from, I guess, the easternmost side of the array to the closest adjacent
We'll see here, I think it's
structure?
82 feet or something.
That's from the property line setback, but like,
I'm
did
sorry.
you guys do any measurements on the? So it's not effectively in a line of sight, but from the next structure, visual structure,
The next visual structure on the property or the
or
neighbors?
their neighbors. And my other question later will effectively be, what interactions have you had with your neighbors? And just to better understand.
We just moved there, so we actually haven't had any of our neighbors.
It's, I think it's at least a couple hundred feet from the neighbors, just, I can actually measure it and email it if you'd like, but I think we're about a couple hundred feet from the neighbor's house,
Okay.
or better, just by eyeballing it.
Yeah, I would say we're better just because we're 80 feet from the line and then their house is even further than
Right.
that is from the solar panel installed, so.
And I can't see the house from down where the solar array is, you can see the house from up on, higher up on the property. And I think there's still a decent amount of vegetation between that house and where this is gonna be situated. Based on the photos, you can see there's quite a bit.
I have a question about the height of the solar panel.
Sure.
Can you discuss that at the top peak from the ground?
Yeah, top peak from the ground would be about 9 feet.
I mean, on average, it's when you see any of the lines, just wondering about the neighbors and, the height of it.
Yeah, I don't believe from that,
Vegetation.
I don't believe from that location they'll be able to see it because it's gonna be in that depression. I believe the vegetation around it will still shield it.
Got a question. Is this a tennis court that we're seeing here?
Yes, it is.
Is it an operation?
I wouldn't say no. I mean, it's just because there's big cracks in it, so.
Have you ever thought of putting the panels up here?
You mean at the tennis court?
Yeah.
You'd be able to see them. It would be so clear. The whole purpose of why we put it back there is because it's literally it keeps it out of line of sight from everywhere, including when we're in our backyard, we won't even be able to see the solar panel from there. It's just because of there's a big, if you go to the end of our backyard where it's actually fenced to, which is still the middle of our lot or our property, there's a big, like probably 20-foot drop off, and then it kind of levels out as you go over towards the tennis court, but all the growth, shrubbery and stuff like that is overgrown there.
Mhm.
It basically blocks that whole area.
So to put it on a tennis court, you have to build a structure to put the solar panels on above it. It's pavement there, so the ground screws we use are meant to go in the soil, not into cement or pavement. So we have to find some alternate method of attachment to that, if we can do it.
And the basis for my question earlier, it was based on, it was this image. So you have your line effectively goes to about here, kind of see the boundary. This structure in this structure. I didn't know what the,
Yeah, that,
I didn't walk over to their lot, but I just want to make sure that this was.
that's like a carport.
Correct.
That they have over there and the house is over here.
Right.
So,
I just want to make sure from a visual aspect that there's. Not being going to be all of a sudden this structure that collection or
Mhm.
visual properties back to the, like,
Yeah, so this, I think this is the view that on that side, actually, I know this is the view on that side of the property, so you can't,
it's pretty low.
it's low and you can't see above the vegetation there, because of where that property is. Which I thought was, I mean, one of the things we try to do, because some people don't mind how ground also looks, some people hate it. So generally speaking, when we try to go out, we try to find the least impactful spot that bother both the homeowners putting it in and the neighbors. Just so we can, we're not trying to put a bad name out there for solar, we're trying to make it as conducive as possible for everyone.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Corey actually topped on and he said that he measured the aerial and it's approximately 300 feet from the neighbor's house to the east.
Thank you.
Was there ever any thought of roof mounted units?
Yeah, so that's one of the first things we always do when we look at doing solar, is to put on the roof, because that's usually the most cost-effective way to put it in. With the trees and this roof line, it wasn't feasible for that location, just wouldn't produce enough energy. That location.
I no, I mean, I do respect that, you put the thought into it. And right now, the vegetation is high. I mean, it's really full, thinking about, the winter time and the neighbors. That's my main concern, the same as Chris.
I'm thinking there was some evergreens on that side of the property, if I recall correctly. So I don't think there's an
there's
evergreen.
actually a lot of pine trees over there. I don't know whether they planted them 30 years or 60 years ago, but.
Yeah, there's multiple over here, you can kind of see it, and then there's really tall one right there as well. So I don't think there's a risk of the leaves falling off and then still being able to see it in the vegetation.
You know, if your neighbor will be able to see these units from any part of their property,
I mean, when I was standing down there looking, I mean, we threw like a. And I think if they were on their roof, they're not gonna see it, if they were standing on the roof of their house, they could probably see it. No, you definitely can't see it from the house. You can see their second story windows. So I think it'd be the roof. It's possible thing, so.
wouldn't see if anybody from the public.
Yeah, is there any public comment? If there's anyone else. Okay. All right. Looking to close the public hearing. No, I said, does anyone? Motion and second. All in favor on that? Aye. So, we'll move back to the Powell variance, but you're welcome to stick around or.
And forgive my ignorance, what's the normal process? Is it?
We'll
something tonight?
discuss it as a board.
Okay.
To see if we want to take action on it, and then we'll go through some of the potential drafts and weigh the 5 different questions. All right.
All right, well, thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. All right. So. So on the Pella variance, do we want to discuss? Take action, table?
Yes. Big action. Need to approve the variance to, open the dispatch. If they did that right.
Do we have anyone that would like to second that? Motion.
And second that.
Right. So. Paul Presco moved and seconded by Jeff Johnson. The area variance requested by Peter and Suzanne Hollow for property located at 97 Mountain Hill Road, Honey Falls, tax ID number 229-01-1-6, zone RA5, to allow a 32.2 foot front setback for a storage shed that is also forward to the minimum front yard side setback for the principal building. The motion is to grant based on the following. Whereas the above property owners appeared before the zoning board of appeals at the public hearing on the application on August 28th, 2025. And whereas the town code section 260-106 requires a minimum front setback of 60 feet. And whereas the town code section 260-8C7 prohibits accessory structures forward of the minimum front yard setback for the principal building. And whereas this application was sent to the ZBA attorney and the town code enforcement officer for review. Whereas this application was sent to the Monroe County Planning Board for review pursuant to General Municipal Law 239-M. And the application was returned as a local matter with comments. Whereas on or about on June 12, 2025, the ZBA granted area variance to the applicant for a pole barn to be located forward to the principal building and for a front setback of 37.2 feet. During review, that application was discovered that there was already an existing but unapproved storage shed on the property that was forward of the principal building and also less than the minimum required front setback. Whereas one of the conditions of said prior approval is the applicant must take action to render the said storage shed to be properly permitted, and in this case, obtain an area variance for. Whereas the ZBA held public hearings on August 28, 2025, and the public was given the opportunity to comment on the application. As I've done in the past, I'm just going to add that no public comment was received. Now therefore be it resolved that this application constitutes a type 2 action under SECRA. No further environmental review is required. And be it further resolved that the ZBA has weighed the effects of the requested variances against the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood, community, and hereby grants which is the motion, the requested variance for 32.2 front setback for the storage shed based on the following findings. So we'll go through the 5 questions, and I will ask the rest of the board to help me with the explanations for the different questions we have. So the requested benefit can or cannot be achieved by other feasible means. Does anyone have input on that one? Are we able to utilize, I should ask this first, are we able to utilize the answers that we utilize for the other pole barn?
Yeah, so just for the record, there are technically 2 variances that are at issue. One is being just forward of the front setback of the primary building, and the second one is, in addition to that, is that it's within the minimum setbacks of any structure that's permitted. So that's why you have sort of 2 sets of 5 factors. And so what I did was I based the draft resolution on the ZBA's prior approval from June for the first sheds, but you're certainly free to accept that language or use your own.
So I will review the prior one, and if anyone has any other input on these, please add that. So the June factor answer for this one is that because of the topography and environmental conditions of the site, that's why it could not be achieved by other feasible means. Are there any others that we would like to add to that? Not hearing? No, okay. The request is substantial because it is nearly 50% of the required code setback. The request will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because there is a considerable amount of vegetative screening to hide the storage shed. Which is what we also use for the pole barn. The request will not have an adverse effect on the physical and or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district because the site layout puts the storage shed outside of any sensitive environmental areas. Is that? Okay. The difficulty is self-created because the storage shed was installed without first obtaining proper approvals from the town. And then just to review quickly the other 5 factors for the second condition is be it further resolved that the ZBA has weighed the effects of the requested variances against the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood and community, and hereby grants the requested variance to allow an accessory structure forward of the minimum front setback of the principal building. Based on the following findings, the requested benefit cannot be achieved by other feasible means because of the topography and environmental conditions of the site. Duplicate of the upper one. The difference on the second one is the request is substantial because it's entirely forward of the principal building. Anything else we wanted to add on those? The request will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood because there is a considerable amount of vegetative screening to hide the storage shed. The request will not have an adverse effect on the physical and or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district because the site layout puts the storage shed outside of sensitive environmental areas. And as the last one, the difficulty is self-created because the storage shed was installed without first obtaining proper approval from the town. On any of those, does any other board ever have a input?
That's good too well.
And then do we want to add any conditions on this one? There's no road construction being done, so I think we're good with that. All right, so with all that read, from a resolution standpoint, can we take a roll call vote on that? All in favor as read? Aye.
I,
Any opposed? All right, motion is carried, and that is the end of that one, so. You guys want to work on that one?
You guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right,
If you want to just like reach out.
Yeah, I'll send the same thing. I'll send you a letter in the mail with your approval and resolution attached.
Perfect. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, so the second, the Holly area variance, same question that I was asked earlier, you guys want to discuss this one, take action, table. Let's do this. Are there any questions that we have left, I guess, unanswered to? We need to get further clarity on, or?
did you have to go to the site? I did not.
I did.
And thoughts?
It is pretty low. It's pretty set low. You really can't. As Jay provided, it is really not an opportunity to see too much elevation. I'm not 9 feet tall, so can't really get an appreciation for the height of the top crest of the fence, but of the panel, but it's not going. I don't feel that it's going to provide a significant hindrance. Given that the vegetation level right now is high, can't really make a determination on winter time, but that was where I was at from a visual standpoint. So
how much space is around, you know, the facility is, like, how much space is there, like, how close is the vegetation come to the unit?
You get, when you guys cleared it out, you cleared a lot more than was necessary. So,
I didn't do any clearing,
okay,
but the space that's there,
the brush is cleared, I mean, it's pretty cleared around that,
Cause
so.
yeah, it does really look, it looks really cleared out, like. And I just wondered, is it
Oh.
going to take up all that space, or do you just normally put that much space in?
well, so.
Clearing?
Yeah, it's a great question.
Mhm.
Normally we try to keep the solar array away from vegetation, so it doesn't shade. The solar panels, the more shade we have on the panels, the less efficient they are and the less performance you get out of them.
Mhm.
So we try to keep them away from trees and. Tall brush as much as possible, just to prevent that shading.
When would construction begin if approved?
So. We have to have these things that they passed a new federal law and a tax law on solar, so they have to be in operational by the end of this year. So we would probably start as soon as possible. To try to get things in as quickly as we can. Hopefully by the end of September, October maybe.
What does it provide? Why do you have to do it by the end of the year?
So the federal government has currently a 30% federal tax credit available to homeowners to install solar array systems.
That ends.
And that the government just passed a law, actually they got rid of the existing tax law. So that the systems must be installed and operational by the end of this year for the homeowners to get the federal tax credit.
Chris, just a comment on this, the review of this application, it's just a reminder that the issue before us is the lot coverage in excess of what's permitted by code. So we're not technically reviewing, we're not specifically reviewing the installation of the solar project in itself, but rather that might be subject to other things like site plan review or whatever, but the purpose of our review is to ascertain the variance for the lot coverage.
Understood. And the reason I asked that was if there was no rush and it was going to be done in the spring, it would have been nice to possibly visit this site in the winter. Just to see. Because I've seen some of these and they, with all respect to your trade and they are useful, but if you got a neighbor and you're looking at it and you didn't want it, it's quite an intrusion.
Mhm.
Quite an intrusion. And I don't see the neighbor here, and I'm sure he got notice.
Right,
But it's a huge concern because I've seen some of these, and it's not great to be a neighbor if it's like pow right in your face.
Yeah, and that's understandable for sure. We respect that, because like I said, some people don't mind it, some people hate it. So that's why we worked hard in this situation to try to get as low in there as we possibly could, just to prevent anyone from seeing it.
and we put out notices for the
Good,
neighbors to
fine.
be invited, correct?
Mhm.
So if they
Yep.
don't come, then,
Right.
and something gets
Yeah.
approved, and then they don't like it, then there isn't any,
It's posted in 3 locations.
okay, all right. I've never looked at it before, you know,
was that?
I've never looked at the solar array, going into a neighborhood.
So I guess with that, does anyone? I would think we would take action tonight. So I would make a motion for this, to grant this.
Set for discussion, sure.
I mean, I made a motion to grant.
Up to grant.
Yes. Well. So you guys have a motion to deny?
I'll go ahead with that.
Second.
Right. All right, so I have Elizabeth Horton, moved, second by Paul Marasco, the area variance requested by Jaditis Fusion Energy Services, developer on behalf of 363 Lane Road. Iron Falls tax ID number 230.01-1-19-1. We know what the zoning is on that one.
I think it's RE1.
It's RE1. Allow residential solar panels to be installed on the property, which would result in a lot coverage in excess of what is permitted for accessory structures. The motion is denied based on the following. The above applicant appeared before the zoning board of appeals and the public hearing on the application of August 28th, 2025. Whereas the town code section 260-8C3 allows a 2% maximum lot coverage for accessory structures. And whereas the property is 5.57 acres, which would permit 4,852.58 square feet, i.e. 2% of lot coverage for accessory structures. And whereas the property already has 2 accessory structures, a tennis court and an in-ground pool, which already total of approximately 8,000 square feet. And the existing of which is believed to predate the 2% maximum lot coverage limit. Whereas the proposed solar panel installation would result in an additional 1,687 square feet, 0.69% lot coverage. Whereas this application was sent to the ZBA's attorney and the town code enforcement officer review. Whereas this application was sent to the Monroe County Planning Board for review pursuant to General Municipal Law 239-M. And the application was returned as a local matter with comments. Whereas the ZBA held public hearings on August 28th. The public was given the opportunity to comment on the application, or you said earlier, the other one, and no comment, public comment was received. Therefore, it be resolved that the application constitutes a type 2 action under secret and no further environmental review is required. Be it further resolved that ZBA has weighed the effects of the requested variance against health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood community and hereby grants or hereby denies the motion. The requested variance to allow residential solar panels to result in a lot coverage in excess of what is permitted for accessory structures based on the following findings. The requested benefit can or cannot be achieved by other feasible means because Liz?
Well, it can be achieved on other means in the sense that with other accessory structures there that you could put it on. I agree, you know, if it doesn't have to be there, and it also could be a smaller footprint. So there are other feasible means.
David, do you have these other locations, structures?
Yeah, so what I have is that because there are other accessory structures that the panels could be placed on, there could also be a smaller footprint for the proposed panels. All right.
The request is or is not substantial.
I would say no. Oh, we've already overlooked that.
0.69.
Would equal 2.69 total. The request will or will not have an undesirable change in the neighborhood.
Will not. Let's see. That lower. And. The trees obstructing view.
The request will or will not have an adverse effect on the physical or environmental conditions of the neighborhood or district because.
I would say will. Cause now you're gonna have solar panel structures up on the. footprint of the land
But environmental. We're going to impact the,
with drainage, soil erosion.
And it's difficult to tell again, so you need to tell when the foliage is. In different seasons.
but not visual, environmental. That's what that's the,
Environmentally, I would say no.
People are like Jeff mentioned.
What are you saying?
yeah. If you can help us just summarize what you're trying to. You're saying it will not have an adverse effect or it will?
I would say will. Because now you're gonna have these structures. With water draining off, possible soil erosion.
There's a 3 square foot ground contact. Total area that the screws, because the screws are about 2 inches in diameter. So the total amount of screws is about 3 square feet, the total project. So the rest of that allows for snow and rain to access the ground. Basically, what I'm trying to say is it's not, there won't be like a surface area for runoff. Like a parking lot or a pavement area.
Like affect you? The will or will not?
And I probably will not.
What?
I would say will not, based on his explanation. I don't know, like. As far as. I don't know, but there's just a little further discussion about anything environmental as far as. I don't want to say like, specific, animals, nature that go through there. I'm not sure about all of that. How that affects anything.
So just as a comment on that,
Mhm.
right, and also your erosion thing too as well. Because from a seeker environmental review standpoint, this is a type 2 action, which means that from a statutory standpoint, the state views this type of project as not having, just as a matter of definition, not having significant environmental impacts.
Mhm.
However, if you find that there are specific ones and you think that there is evidence or proof otherwise, notwithstanding the fact that it's a type 2 action or seeker, you can make that note as part of your findings, but you would need to identify what those are specifically as opposed to sort of speculating what that might be. So just as a note of guidance there on that.
So for now it would be will not.
You have the supplemental capture thing.
I do.
The difficulty is or is not self-created. Is their desire to install solar panels. All right, so from the answer the 5 factors, I guess, discussion on the resolution. And the motion, roll call vote. So all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, opposed? Okay. Three, one, so it still carries. Correct for that, we would work with
Mhm.
them on that one.
Yep, same thing. I'll send them a letter with the resolution attached.
May I ask a question?
Yes,
Am I allowed to, or?
yeah, we can, because it's public comment, and so on, so,
Well, I mean,
I'm sorry.
it's your,
Yes.
it's your prerogative.
yes.
All right, thank you. From my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, the current town code does allow for ground mounted solar arrays in this jurisdiction, is that correct?
You would probably want to ask Corey for those types of questions. I wouldn't
I'm
want
pretty,
to, yeah, if
I'm
that's,
99% sure that they do
Yes.
allow it.
yeah.
They did, yes.
Okay, so is there some sort of recourse we could take with this, or is there some other information that the three of you would like from me, so I could help you understand better what's going on and try to not trying to argue with you, just trying to say, hey, obviously you've got some concerns. Is there something I can do to try to help better educate you on what we're trying to accomplish and what can alleviate your concerns?
Yeah, and again, I mean, this is really against the 2% lot coverage, that's what it's definitely not against putting a ground.
Well,
Installed.
I understand. It just seems like there's other motivating reasons for them to vote against this other than just being a 2%. I see.
I think you didn't really give it a lot of other options or feasibility other than it had to go there. I mean, could it have went to something existing that was there, already there, or other choices, other than that was the only site?
So we did look at that.
Yeah, because of the, where it dips, I mean, we're the last people that want somebody to drive by and see a bunch of solar panels in front of our house. There's no way we're gonna even put it on the tennis court because you can see it from the road when you drive by the house. So the whole idea was put it down below that area. That's the only place it'll ever go. And if we can't get it there, then it's not gonna happen. But to be honest with you, I'm the last, I work for a tree company that we, you know.
I think,
Red trees, we try to do everything to make it look better.
I know you mentioned that there's a tennis court and it's not really used, if that wasn't there, you wouldn't even be in front of us.
I still wouldn't
That
put
would
it in the-
remove.
Are they allowed to remove that?
I still wouldn't put it in the tennis court.
Yeah,
I mean, the location of the tennis court, you can see clearly
You can
from
see,
the road,
okay,
it's
so
just
there's
there.
still the visual.
So if you go up past the tennis court,
Yes.
you're going down the hill.
Yes,
it'd still be
Maybe
over, it'd still be over. That's something I'd
Oh,
probably
that's
refer
fair,
them,
that's fair.
yeah, I'd.
It's still
that's something I
8,000
would-
square feet.
Yeah, I would refer them to Corey to have that conversation because my understanding from Corey is that currently they're already at 8,000 square feet of accessory structure lot coverage.
So there's still 3,000.
Right, even if you
200.
took out the tennis court, I don't know how much that is specifically, but you're probably, right, the current limit is only like 4,300 or something like that, based on their lot size. So I think that they might still be over, but that's something for Corey to answer your question.
And gonna refer to Corey, who.
Corey is the code enforcement officer.
For the town.
Yeah, if you want sort of feedback or, to talk about it further, he'd be the guy to talk to. And there might be, if you've heard the comments from this board, there might be, I mean, I don't want to speak for any of you, obviously, but there might be some additional thought about a different location, or maybe he can help give you suggestions on how to revisit the idea before this board for reconsideration. But I mean, you all can comment on that.
They get the.
If there's anything I can provide you information wise to help better understand the situation, I'd be happy to do so. Please let me know. Unless you're 100% made up right now, I won't waste my time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we don't have any public comment?
No.
Okay. General discussion, anything else for upcoming? This the September 11th and the 25th meetings? Those
Yes.
two, okay.
Yep.
Um,
the September 25th one just came in
was gonna
this
say,
morning. Yeah, I haven't even sent it to your emails, but I figured I'd give you the hard copy in.
Uh. Okay, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second,
Second.